Hello, Libra. This is your reading for February 2017. So I also know that February 14th is Valentine's Day, and I think a lot of people are apprehensive, but just relax, release any expectations or outcomes, although I know that's difficult. And just be open to getting a bigger perspective, understanding the big picture of what's going on in your situation. Okay? So I'm going to shuffle in just a few more seconds. I'm going to cut the cards in a few more seconds. Okay, Libra. The first card is the Chariot. Now, obviously, this is a very positive card. It's about moving on, a successful endeavor. Okay. The second card, Ace of Cups. Okay. This is about emotional awakening, being in love, to be more concrete. Sometimes it can even mean a happy marriage or a happy relationship. It's about emotional growth as well. But it is a very positive, happy card. It's almost like spiritual energy, an emotional energy that's spiritual, that's healing. And so aces are always about beginnings. And then I have this High Priest, which is also considered the Hierophant card. Sometimes it's the Pope. And this is about traditions and families. In some cases, this actually means a wedding or a marriage contract. Okay? It's also about legal matters, but in the context of a relationship reading, it's about being faithful and honest and honoring commitments, honoring personal truths, honoring your highest self. That's the best way I can say it. But in relationship readings, in a concrete way, this could be about someone honoring their commitments, honoring a marriage, a formal arrangement, a serious relationship. So in this past influences, this first row, past influences, I already have two very strong major arcana, the Chariot, the Ace of Cups, and the High Priest. So I'm already getting a sense of a very serious relationship, or a relationship that was going well, or a connection or a romantic connection that seemed very serious, very positive, and seemed to be going in the right direction. Okay? Heading into your present influences, I have a Two of Swords. Okay? And you'll notice the blindfold. Now, there's another card in Swords that also has a blindfold. So this is about making decisions. And you'll notice that she's blindfolded and she's between two swords here. And in order to have clarity, one sword represents the Ace of Swords. Okay? And when I look at this card, sometimes it means that someone needs to commit, or two people need to be on the same page. In order to she has to make a decision to drop one of those swords, okay? Or the situation requires deciding which sword to take, and that sword can represent, one side, two possible decisions, two possible outcomes. The Two of Swords represents having to choose one outcome. Okay. So this is very interesting that someone, things seem to have been going a very positive path, and then we kind of get stopped in our tracks with the Two of Swords. Okay. And sometimes it's a decision between the head and the heart as well. Sometimes it's not between two people. Sometimes it's between a decision someone has to make with their head or their heart. They don't know what direction to go in. Okay. I have a Seven of Cups reversed. And the cups are about emotion. I always think it's interesting when you get cards that mirror each other. The Seven of Cups is about dreams and hopes and having choices. And sometimes this is about procrastination. Someone who has their head in the clouds. You'll see air all around because this is about making a decision as well. And when this is reversed, sometimes it can mean an illusion, getting caught up in fantasy. You making a decision for someone else and not letting them own up to their responsibilities. Okay. So these two cards work together very well. This Two of Swords, and then we have this Seven of Cups, which is about head in the clouds, making decisions. And because it's reversed, it seems to be referring to someone avoiding decisions. They're not seeing things realistically. That's not necessarily you, but it definitely seems to be someone else. I have a King of Cups, and this can represent a person. It is a court card. And this could represent this person in question who seems to want to be connected, a person who lets their emotions flow easily, but then they get scared and they back off. So it's very possible that what's going on with these cups, we go from an Ace of Cups to a Seven of Cups reverse, and then we have the Seven of Cups, which represents a very intuitive, spiritual person who feels things. They don't, and thinking comes later, okay? And a very creative person, okay? It doesn't mean that this person is feeling all the time and expressing their emotions all the time. These kings keep their emotions, they keep their actions in check. So this King of Cups, cups representing emotion, it represents someone who doesn't necessarily express love all the time, but they keep their emotions in check. They keep them under control. But they're very creative. They can be very wise. They can be very sensitive. So far in the past and present, I'm seeing a relationship. For those of you in relationships, I'm definitely seeing a relationship that's kind of stalled. Someone who might feel a little bit emotionally confused. Someone who might even be afraid of commitment. Okay? And that could be, especially with the swords, Libra, maybe it's you trying to decide between your head and your heart. Okay? It could be you trying to decide, should I trust this person? Because the High Priest is also about trust as well. But should I go ahead and trust this person, or should I wait and see? Maybe some of you are attracted to someone whose behavior has been very touch and go. They're giving you mixed messages and you don't know how to feel. That's another reason why this Seven of Cups might be in the center of your spread and why it's reversed. So now we're heading into the future influence. And I have a Seven of Pentacles. And this is the card of waiting. You can see this gentleman is waiting for something to grow. He's waiting for the results or the fruits of his labor. And as far as relationships go in the tarot, this could be a card that says, just be patient, okay? everything will start to come together. But it's definitely a card about waiting and not reacting to everything that's happening at the moment. Pentacles are the slowest energy in the tarot. They represent Earth. And so Earth is always very stable. It's very grounded. It's about thinking things through and just evaluating the situation. Also, the number 7 is always about inner work, looking inside. We have 2 sevens. So this 7 of Cups, which is usually about your dreams and your hopes and how to make those things happen, making a decision about manifestation of your dreams and hoping for the best outcome. This 7 of Pentacles represents the same kind of inner this inner work where you're standing back and you're waiting, and you're looking ahead and you're wondering, well, what else do I need to do? Is there anything I should do? And usually the 7 of Pentacles is like, just take a step back. There's nothing more you can do. There's no situation. You can't control the situation. If someone is pulled away from you, for instance, sometimes it's just good to give the entire situation some space and just be patient, and everything will work out. The next card, whoa, look at what's happened. We have that 1 sword. We have that Ace of Swords, which is about clarity. Remember what I said about that 2 of Swords? Dropping one of the swords and choosing. And as I said, some of us might be making a decision between our head and our heart. This is also about action, that once you make that decision or someone else makes that decision, it's about moving forward. And sometimes it's about looking at the truth, looking at what is, and not being afraid to see things as they are and acting on that information. It could mean that not only do you get clarity, but you get the other person sort of reveals who they really are. You might actually start to see that person who, based on their behavior and what they're doing, you might actually be taking that blindfold off and seeing who they really are. And it can also mean success and being aware. And it's about moving forward on what you see as truth. It's about acting on truth. So I think that so far this is very good, that being patient and waiting and not reacting, that if you're not sure about someone or their intentions or feelings, it's very easy to panic. And so with this 7 of Pentacles, this is about slowing down, taking time to see things develop, to see how, because you might not know what this other person's situation is for some of you. You might be overthinking things, okay, as I'm seeing with the 2 of Swords and the 7 of Cups reverse. So sometimes when we get this more stable and clarifying energy with the 7 of Pentacles and Ace of Swords, the tarot is saying, okay, step back. You'll know the truth soon enough, and you will know what to do. So the last card is, before this outcome card, this is a 4 of Pentacles. And this is also a very stable card. Sometimes it's about holding on to something. Sometimes it's about holding on when we should be letting go, when we should be taking risks. The number 4, by the way, is always about stagnation or stability. Being stable is always good. Evaluating the risk before you make a terrible decision, that's always good as well. But what I'm seeing here is staying put, but also don't hold on. Okay, you have other options. sometimes we don't want things to change. We want to stay exactly where they are. It could represent someone who's very selfish, but I'm looking at this Four of Pentacles in the context of the Seven of Pentacles, waiting to see what's happening, and then we get clarity. And so, yeah, sometimes it's good that once we get clarity, once we get the truth, maybe it's better to stay put instead of risking a hasty action. Instead of confronting someone, for instance, or not giving someone space and just trying to get them to change. Okay. So, in a way, I kind of see this as good, that you should stay put. But there's always a warning with this card that you should not be resistant to change. Okay. Another example that I'm thinking of with these last three cards. You might have dated someone and you felt that instant attraction, and that person you were dating never called you back. They might have talked or texted you for a little bit. You two might have been engaged, but the person never ever moves to a second date. And I've heard those experiences. So instead of staying put and waiting for that person, which a lot of people tend to do from my experience, it's better to just say, well, just keep dating. Don't stay put waiting for this person. Even though you felt an attraction and you felt that things were going well, and you kind of feel like that person likes you and you don't know why they stopped calling, it doesn't help to just stay put, especially if there's no commitment. Sometimes I tell a person, well, we went on a couple dates and we text a lot and then they disappeared. And I always tell that person, well, just keep moving on. Don't stay put and wait. Don't get into this headspace where you're thinking about that person all the time and you keep fantasizing about what could have happened. Sometimes it's better to move on. Okay. So when we go from a Seven of Pentacles to waiting, and then we get clarity and truth, and then we decide, okay, just stay put. Yes, this could be about just staying put and not, especially for those of you who might be in a relationship. Sometimes this is about not taking irresponsible risks and staying put. And it can also mean that maybe the other person is resistant to change, that maybe they're unwilling to compromise. So take that into consideration, that in your future, Libra, hang back and just see what happens. You'll understand everything in time for those of you who are in complicated situations. Four of Pentacles, it represents that there will be sort of like a stagnating energy in this situation, that nothing's going to change immediately. So it's up to you to make that call of, okay, maybe I'll move on, maybe I'll see other people, especially for those of you who are single. But just take that into consideration, what the message from the tarot is in your future, that if you're waiting for something to change, if you're waiting for some huge shift, especially with another person, this Four of Pentacles could be saying, now you're waiting to evaluate to see what happens, but now you have clarity and you're still waiting. Okay, you might still be waiting after you get some clarity, or you have an understanding of what's going on. So I'm going to shuffle for an outcome card that might give an overall perspective of all of the cards. Okay, outcome card. I have a King of Wands in the outcome. And so here's what's interesting, because you had another King of Cups, and then you have a King of Wands. And the King of Wands, obviously a king of fire, a king of desire. And this definitely, if it doesn't represent a particular person, it's not necessarily you because you're more air, but it could represent the energy of a future situation where there's a definite action. Someone awakens. They're no longer just hanging back and avoiding a relationship. They're fully involved. They're ready to move forward. Um, Things might get a little shaken up. So it's interesting after this Four of Pentacles where you're just waiting for change. Nothing seems to change. Nothing seems to shift. This is about energy and enthusiasm and being and just getting out there and shaking things up. And maybe the energy of that other person might change, but it's definitely in a good way, meaning that your situation with love is going to get shaken up a little bit. There's going to be a little bit of fire and passion and energy instead of all this slow energy of the pentacles and thinking all the time and all these emotions that are held back. Now the King of Wands comes along and all of a sudden things seem to have gotten a jump start. And also, as usual, Libra, it's what I really find interesting. You only have two major arcana. We have the Chariot and the High Priest, which, as I said before, sort of tells me that there was some very strong connection or relationship that got very serious. And then there was holding back, a pulling back of emotions. So the other readings seem to have 4 or 5 or 6 major arcana. You only have 2, Libra, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay. This isn't necessarily like a huge shakeup in your life. It just seems to be sort of like a minor situation that is still under your influence. You still have control over the situation. Okay. And after all this emotion and then holding back and then waiting, then once again, that King of Wands in your outcome is sort of signaling be prepared for a huge jumpstart that will be very positive in the end. Okay. So Libra, that was your reading for February. And by the way, I have a new special for February for $15, a video reading, but this video reading focuses on relationship energy. And maybe if you're in a relationship or dating someone and you want to know what's going to go on with this person, what's going on with their intentions, or what's going on between the two of you, this is a good reading. But even if you're single and there's no one on the horizon just yet, it's a reading that will help you look at your relationship to love, when love will come, what are the obstacles, what is it that, what decisions do you need to make? It gives you sort of like that bigger picture of what's going on around you as far as your relationships. So take advantage of that. If you go in my description, I have a link to all of my services and you can make an appointment. And like I said, that will be my special for February. A lot of you took advantage of my special for video readings for $15. Usually they're $20. So I will try to have different readings, I might even try to have a reading just for single people, for those of you who are taking that journey to love, who are waiting for love. All right? So I hope you're having a wonderful year so far. I look forward to talking to all of you. I always appreciate your comments and your feedback. And to all my regulars, thank you for allowing me to continue reading for you. And for those of you who are new to my video readings, I hope to hear from you soon. So I wish you love and light and take care.